Hi, this is Mark Roth, and this is Mathematics for Social Justice. Today's lesson is called Pigeonhole Puzzles Part 4. It's like the fourth time talking about pigeonhole puzzles, but today I want to show you a more abbreviated version. Suppose you're like at a family gathering and you're trying to entertain an 8-year-old, and you don't want to go through all the trouble of explaining how to find the last missing number. In other words, if we start with 3, 3, and 3, there's a way to calculate that this has to be 9. But if you don't want to go through all that, you can say, okay, let's just find all the numbers 1 through 8 with no repeats and give them this number, okay? And then they're just going to do the reasoning. So let's look at the reasoning. We have to use 1 and 2 somewhere, and they can't both be in this column because 1 and 2 with carry wouldn't get anywhere near 9. So 1 and 2 has to be in either 1's column, 10's column, or 100's column. And we can't make 13 with either a 1 or a 2. So that means we're going to have to use 1 and 2 and make a 3. So it's going to be in this 100's column, the 10's column, or the 1's column. But it can't be in the 10's column or the 100's column because they would each have a carry number of 1. So if you had a carry number here, you'd finish the 3 by going 1 and 1, not 1 and 2. So the 1 and 2 have to go here because there's no carry number above there. So that's where the 1 and the 2 have to go. This will turn out to be 13, and we carry a 1. And this will turn out to be 13, and we carry a 1. Now, that means these two numbers will add up to 8. There's no chance to make 19 using numbers 1 through 8. So these two numbers will have to add up to 8, and we can't go 1 and 7 because the 1's been used. We can't go 2 and 6 because the 1's been used. So the only possibility that remains is 3 and 5. So now these two numbers have to add up to 13, and these two numbers have to add up to 12. So let's try the 13 now. You can make 13 with a 9 and 4. We can't use 9 at all. We're only using 1 through 8. And you can make 13 with an 8 and 5, but the 5's been used. So this has to be 6 and 7. It's the only remaining possibility. And now we've used 1, 2, 3. We haven't used 4 yet. So it's going to have to be 4 and 8. Makes 12 plus 1 is 13. This gives you like a nice little puzzle to give your younger cousin at a family gathering. Maybe he doesn't have enough playmates and he's bored, and you can entertain him. Or her, excuse me, for singling out a male. The reason I used a male is I actually did this with a male cousin. So as a second example, let's try this problem. 9, 2, 3, 4. And again, we're going to only use the numbers 1 through 8 with no repeats. We can't put two little numbers like 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 or 2 and 3. We can't put two of them here because they don't add up to 9. So a small number has to be over here. So for example, if we were going to put 1 or 2 over here, we won't be able to make 12, 13, and 14 and still use one of those little numbers. So one of these has to be small. And it can't be this one because you can't use 1 twice. So this has to be 12, and we can carry 1. All right. So that means either this or this is either going to be 3 or this is going to be 4. But if this was 3, then this would be 14, and we carry 1. And this would be 1 and 2. No, if you carry 1, we can't use 1 and 2 because then a carry of 1 plus 1 and 2 would add up to 4, not 3. So we can't make 12 and 3. We have to make 12 and 13, and this be 4. And the only way to make 4 is to use 1 and 3. And then we carry a 0. So now we'll be making 13, and we'll be carrying 1. And here we'll be making 12. So when we make 13, we can't use 1 and 3 anymore. How could we do this? Well, let's actually start over here. We have to make 8 here, but we can't use the 1 and the 3. So let's go ahead and use 2 and 6. So now that 6 has been used, we can't go 6 and 7. And we can't use 9 because we're never able to use a 9. So this has to be 8, okay? Because 6, 7, and 9 are out. This has to be 8. So that's going to be 8 and 5. And we carry 1. So these two numbers will have to add up to 11. And what I like to do sometimes is write all the numbers that I'm using and then cross them out. So we've already used 1, 2, 3. So we can cross those out. Now we haven't used 4 yet, so that'll go here. So in making 12, we've got 5 plus 7. We'd already used the 6, and we'd already used the 8. But now we're using the last two numbers, 4 and 7. So let's see if we've used them all. We've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.